here with the pilot in Weed. Hopefully, you guys are all having a great day. Hey, SX671. Hopefully, you have a great day, and thanks for stopping by to say hi. So, today is Peace with Heritage, and I wanted to read the passage from it because, again, it's really beautiful. Hey, Kyle. Hopefully your day is going well. It's a beautiful day here in Mount Shasta. I'm hoping to get out to the lake and enjoy some time there before we do another live stream at 3:33 to talk about some other interesting topics, including maybe the Pistis Sophia from the Megillah, their Nazarene cosmology, and other topics like that. So hopefully you will join me. But for now, today being Heritage Day, like a raging river, the past flows into the present. Lo, this river carries all the good and bad things of previous generations and deposits both upon the shore of the present, which is your shore. Yea, the sins of your ancestors are present in your blood, as the sins of past cultures are present in your customs. Embrace the helpful things of previous generations, but reject the hurtful, and pray that you pass on better things to the next generation. I know that a lot of these like weekly meditations are going to be repetitive, but the practice is kind of meant to be to keep our focus ever present on these things and keep bringing our mind to it so that we can create a better world for ourselves, having peace with our mind, having peace with our body, our families, humanity, our heritage, Mother Earth, and God and Goddess. All of these things are really important. So yes, it is repetitive, but again, what more important things are there in life too to harbor these forms of peace? So let us say the prayer for today, which is: our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. May wisdom guide us as we accept or reject things from the past. May your angel of wisdom bless all that we pass on to the future. I know I talked a little bit last week more in details about specific things that I plan on changing for my future family and generations. But ultimately, children are a blank slate, and we get to determine what those children are taught, how they are taught to behave with other people, what they're taught to eat, how they view animals. And these things are all really, really important in order to change the world and make new waves in the ocean of existence. Just as a key, or like a side note, this book is available on the Essene website, well, by calling their store, and it has all of their Essene practices and some yoga stuff in it. That's a really great reminder, or like a handy tool that you can use, that I've been using as well. As you can see, it's only a few weeks old and it's getting kind of dirty because I do my morning communions out in the sun, and it's been really helpful for me. So Kyle asks if I'm going to rock my cow bikini at the lake later, and I actually did bring it with me, so we'll see. David D says that there are many who ask, what evidence is there of the heavens we speak of beyond what these original biblical scriptures teaches and we see? We know at a soul level that heaven exists. Yeah, that is really beautiful. Hey, Tom. I was reading today in preparation for the later live stream at 3:30, the Pistis Sophia, and a little bit more about Nazarene cosmology. And the really cool thing that I really loved, that was inside of this, the mother ovum, which contains all of physical reality. The most high heaven is actually at the center point where Jah and Jala, well, Jade and Jana technically, are in embrace in the center. That is called the golden realm. That is heaven most high. And like, it's just really beautiful that is what is considered heaven, is at that point where they are in embrace. And I don't know, that just makes me so happy because we get into that love and that peace and the great benefits that come with being in fellowship with our mother and father. Not just on this earthly realm is important, but more importantly, most importantly, is those spiritual connections, and improving them in whatever ways we can. So different things that the Essenes would do for Heritage Day, not only thinking of things that we can pass on to future generations, ways that we can improve our family lineage, but also celebrating our cultural heritage, and where we have come from, and the benefit, or like the good things that all of us have in the past. Obviously, all of us have bad things as well. All of us came from animal eating, for instance, right? And different religious practices and customs, all of these things that we should examine. There are good things that we should embrace as well, and pass on and cherish about our culture and where we came from, even though so much of it is darkness and unknowing. Even when we read in the Megillah about how the Nazarenes, they were constantly persecuted and put into foreign lands in captivity. They're constantly put under different programs and agendas to make them forget who they are. If you haven't seen the other clip from Samson and Delilah that I've been posting around, it specifically talks about how the powers that be, they could just kill you if they wanted to. That's easy sport. But to corrupt you and get you to their way, to have you continue living in a corrupting manner that's essentially dragging your soul into lower forms of hell, that is a better prize to them than killing you, because if they kill you, then it's done, right? But if they can keep you alive and keep you not only corrupting yourself, but also influencing the world around you, corrupting others, and even if you're not corrupting others, just being a puppet for these entities. As I was saying maybe yesterday, there's a situation where I could feel that demons kind of wanted me to have an altercation with somebody. And when you don't have those kinds of knowledge and you're not really thinking about those things, they can take advantage of that. They're constantly at work trying to seed discord and miscommunication and doubt in our minds and worry and like just all sorts of negativity that they can then feed off of, because it not only hurts us, but it can impact the relationships around us. It can impact the people that we're around, and ultimately everything. So, hello, Erin. How's it going? Aaron says, how's your Hebrew to read the original Bible? Well, I'm actually focused right now on the Nazarene Bible personally, and there are not original manuscripts in Hebrew that are available to us. And so I honestly am, for any book that I come across, I take discernment with me. I'm not going to give up my ability to say that's not right or that's good to any book, or blindly follow any pastor or any religion, and I think that's really important. That's really something that so many people have given up. They've given up that discernment. They're saying, Bible is the word of God, and then they just blindly accept anything in it. They'll jump through hoops to try to make things make sense or understand why God did this or said this or whatever, when the reality is that God didn't technically write any books for us. There are inspired scriptures, but ultimately we need to look inside and look to that relationship that connection that we all have to the divine inside, and do what is best for us and not be too worried about this. Aaron says the Torah is the original Hebrew. If you mean the Torah that was scribed by Aaron in the name of Moses, that contains animal sacrifice and a vengeful, angry God, that is written about in the Nazarene texts. Those are inspired by ultimately Satan, because God isn't like that. God isn't angry. He's not jealous. He definitely does not require animal sacrifice. The animals are our brothers and sisters, and we're supposed to treat them with love and respect and show them the way to live in higher levels of existence, of peace and harmony and love, rather than terrorizing them and also pulling ourselves down and saying, oh, well, if a lion eats meat, then I can too. We're not supposed to be acting like the fallen members of the world that we see. We're supposed to be raising ourselves and them up to higher levels of existence and consciousness and bliss. I used to be very into the mainstream Bible. And then God led me while I was studying Passover to the Gospel of the Holy 12. That's when I started to study the Essenes, the Nazarenes. And for me, there's definitely no going back, because once you know God and Goddess, once you know the truth of who they are and their true character, you can't accept any of these worldly books that say that they are vengeful and angry and jealous and demanding animal sacrifice and commanding wars and promoting that kind of violence or discord and disunity in this world, because that's not what they're about. So, yes. David E. says that Torah includes many satanic deceptions. Nazarene Holy Megillah is the original teachings of Christ. Yeah, well, definitely I've been talking for many years about writing my own Bible or assembling it. I'm not saying that I'm like coming up with all these scriptures. The Gospel of the Holy 12 is what inspired me to go vegan and change my life. I think that there has already been scriptures of holy work that just need to be assembled in the right place and distributed, and maybe minor mistranslations here and there that need to be changed. So I do have that in the works. It's a slow process, but still working on that, because I think it's really important that we have at least a source of truth that can be a foundation and can be built upon. I'm definitely not saying that I am the be-all end-all when it comes to truth. I'm still learning just like you. There are so many things about this world that we don't know yet, that have yet to be discovered. So yeah, no one here is claiming to be, the 100% truth. So anyways, I am glad to be here with you today. Aaron says, I'm not a Christian, but even Jesus believed in the divinity of the original Hebrew Torah. Well, the Christ that I follow would have pointed to the Nazarene Torah, the way of Yah, which even in Jeremiah 8:8 talks about the Torah of the mainstream Bible being essentially mishandled by lying scribes. There's a really interesting article on the Nazarene way about the priesthood being infiltrated shortly after Moses' death. And if you read the Nazarene Bible, it actually started before that, because Aaron was leading his own group, which was doing all the animal sacrifice and blood sacrifice. And Moses was actually a Nazarene who was against animal sacrifice, because they're actually in line with Yah's way. And basically Aaron took over and wrote stuff in the name of Moses, and even messed up the original 10 commandments that Moses wanted to give to the people. Aaron basically said, no, I'm not giving those to the people. I'm going to give them my version of commandments, which ultimately is like more the one that we have today. But it doesn't specifically talk about being anti-animal sacrifice or any of that, which the Nazarenes do. Nazarene, Nasa, comes from the Hebrew Nasa, meaning to lift up, and as a sectarian name, they are focused on raising others up, and a lot of times it has to do with forgiveness, forgiving ourselves and forgiving others, and it's just a really beautiful ascension group of people that are focused on lifting others up out of the dark pits of hell that we have stumbled and fallen into. So yes, there are different vows, Nazarene vows, and the Nazarenes wouldn't cut their hair. And I'm not sure about refraining from grapes. Sounds really foolish, because the Christ actually, when he fed the multitudes, he fed them grapes and bread. So I'm not really sure what the grapes has to do with, but they definitely refrained from eating animal flesh. And even in their times, obviously, they were in a different culture. They actually had farmers that cared for their animals, and they did have sheep and birds that they would eat the eggs and the fermented milk. So that's what they did then. Unfortunately, these days, all of the animals that you see all of these products are coming from abused animals, which would definitely not be acceptable to people that were following the Nazarene way, because taking part in any harming of animals and causing suffering is not part of God's plan. He's definitely, well, God and Goddess, they are both against that. So, Aaron, I would encourage you to check out the story of Samson and Delilah that I read from the Nazarene Bible. I am going to get off of here, but I will be back at 3:30 where we can chat about different things, and I will bring the Megillah so that we can read about Pistis Sophia, which is a really interesting story where we'll find some more of those tidbits. Like fairy tales and all of these mainstream stories that we're told have older and more ancient roots. These aren't new stories. Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, all of these, Peter Pan, right? They all had their original stories somewhere, and I really love how the Megillah just ties them together. I believe that it is divinely inspired, and so one of those, well, maybe two, will be talked about in this story of the Pistis Sophia. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about other stuff. I'll get into the live chat and all of that at 3:30, and I hope to see you then. So yes. And by the way, Aaron, we're talking about the Holy Megillah, the Nazarene Bible of the Essene Way. I'm not talking about anything that has to do with the mainstream Bible or mainstream Judaism or their apocryphal texts. So yeah, Heritage Day. Hopefully you'll spend some time today and appreciating your culture and where you came from, and pondering the good and the bad, what we can take on to future generations to make a better world for all of us. I hope to see you later. Until then, may God and Goddess bless you.